Rock and roll used to be thought of as a young person's game, but Paul McCartney, Bruce Springsteen, Bob Dylan, and U2 will tell you otherwise. I guess this is the story that we're going to do right now, Larry. Huge crowds still turn out to see these older acts, and the Rolling Stones, for instance, show no sign of quitting 62 years into their careers.
Yeah, music journalist David Hepworth explores how these rock icons have survived and thrived in his new book, Hope I Get Old Before I Die, Why Rock Stars Never Retire. David joins us now. Good morning.
Good morning.
So is this a new phenomena? I was just trying to, think of the stars, from back in the day.
We weren't going to Bing Crosby concerts in the 80s.
Yeah, that's what I mean. That's what I mean. They would turn up occasionally on a Bob Hope special, but...
Yeah. Bing Crosby didn't live that long.
No, he
really.
didn't.
And sadly, and Elvis Presley also the same, whereas Paul McCartney is still going at the age of 82. And my book really starts with Live Aid, which was 40 years ago this year. And I was one of the UK presenters of the TV coverage of it. And I remember seeing Paul McCartney going up to play at the end of Live Aid. And we thought, there he goes, the old veteran. Of course, he was 43.
Right.
He was 43, which nowadays is not even getting started. And he wasn't, the second half of his career was almost as big as the first half of his career. So, what fascinates me is that these people keep going because they can, where I don't think it was an option before. They're playing in front of bigger crowds, getting more money and getting more kind of admiration than probably they've ever got at any stage in their career, which is fascinating. And the other side of it is I think it says a lot about us, that we continue to want to go and see these people. And it's not just contemporaries who want to go and see, Paul McCartney or the Rolling Stones or Bob Dylan or whatever. It's people significantly younger than them, to whom they're legends, they're semi-mythical figures who are still with us, still amongst us, and have a kind of mystique that more recent acts aren't seem to have, So it's fascinating. I just wanted to write about the second half of their careers, really, because everybody writes about the first half of their careers. Yeah. And I wanted to write about their second and third ages and so forth.
But the fact that, MTV and the internet, younger people are seeing these acts for the first time. So it's not just the people that are original fans of a Paul McCartney that are going to these shows. There's tickets are being sold to younger people as well because of that, right?
Absolutely. And also the thing that happened with the internet is that once the internet arrived, nobody disappeared anymore. It used to be that you had your day in the sun, and when your records were no longer in the record shops, you disappeared. Nobody knew where you were. Yeah. Nobody disappears anymore. And so, you can have quite small bands still cultivating a small following many, many years after you would have thought that they completely slipped from the public consciousness, because it's easy for people to keep in touch with them, and they do,
David, I wanted to ask you about that because it's something I didn't think of when I was younger, but the radio will only play youthful acts, even if Bruce Springsteen is making an album. You'll never hear those songs on the radio. Why is that?
Well, it's an interesting thing that it's a kind of public prejudice, isn't it? That loads of people want to go and see Paul McCartney or Bruce Springsteen. But there's a limited number of people who want to hear their new stuff. We tend to want to hear the old stuff, And as prices for tickets for shows go up more and more, I think people more and more deliver the old stuff. If people are paying $100 or more, they call the tune literally, Whereas it used to be people went out there and they played their new album and you put up with it, And, if you've been making records for 40, 50 years, it's likely that the bigger ones will have been earlier in your career. And that's the stuff that people want to hear.
Do you think there's something about the nature of the music itself, though, that's more electric, more below the roof off the venue, for some of these artists? I mean, I've seen Springsteen and McCartney and the Stones, And it's mind-blowing to see these people, I think partially also because of the nature of their music.
Well, I've said to my children, I'm grown-up children now, you know, and I don't go around leaning on them to listen to records or whatever. But I have said about Bruce Springsteen, you should go and see Bruce Springsteen while he's here, because when he's gone, there will be nobody like that anymore.
Yeah, it's true.
That tradition has totally gone. You know, he was kind of, you know, he is unique even amongst his generation, you know, so. You know, I'm old enough to say I saw Louis Armstrong in 1967,
Wow.
okay? And, you know, it's a bit like that with Bruce Springsteen now. You know, once he's gone, there will be nobody doing that any longer.
Very true. The book is Hope I Get Old Before I Die, Why Rock Stars Never Retire. For more, you can check out David's site and socials. Thanks, David.
Thanks, David.
Thank you.